Hey, so one more focus on fashion, right? Because April 1st is coming, and you're and excuse the all right, and I can wear gloves. One moment. Hey, excuse me. So this is brand new gloves, right? I'm only gonna wear one side. I'm afraid that people might think I'm some kind of assassin. No, I don't do that. So with this, this is by Paul Smith, excuse me. So there's Paul Smith and Paul Frank. Paul Smith is the more pattern kind of designers since at least the 60s or 70s, and then the Paul Frank is the monkey. Yeah. Alright, so let me explain more about the neckties. This one, it's just more, the color is a gray tone, gray scale. They don't want to snap pictures, and it is by Ferragamo. It's also mine. This was one of my first tie I bought in Hong Kong. The red tie, once again, it's hey, wake up. There might be some you know, testing to see how healthy you are. So it's never only one meaning that people focus on, right? And then this is more for the American farms that I have bought. When I studied when they told me Idaho is focused on potatoes, I asked them where is the bigger than turkey is ostrich. Where do they farm the ostrich? So that's the nightclub ties. Yeah. And then people kind of think this is so risque, you know. Risque is French way of saying nightclubs. And it's kind of like no one tells you to, you know, link the two kind of nightlife, you know, the night scenes, you know, the dance hall or, you know, the actual burlesque shows, you know. And I to this day, I seriously still don't know where they farm the ostrich. I have an idea. It's probably Kansas, and on call because they always have the empty slots, you know. How big are the poops? Because you have to scoop it. So yeah. Yellow ties. I had a discovery because yellow color dye is very DYE, okay? Yellow color dye is very limited sometimes, and I discovered where to find it. So that was one of the celebrations, pre-celebration. And this one's also by Ferragamo. Yeah, El Salvador Ferragamo with the name. This one is more for people who cannot write too well, and then they draw pictures. So this is the reminder that you have to draw sometimes. And this one is by Burberry. Draw and write sometimes. This one, it's a everybody needs some kind of metallic colors. So this one is I choose to be the pastel, the more calm one, because I have the sorting books kind of a hobby. And of course, and then later on you discover that I didn't know they had, you know, some kind of obligations and they don't have time. Then you have to make the best out of the situation. And you have to cover the other responsibilities. This one is also the monogram. This one is by Louis Vuitton, because LVMG is a always the prepared corporate ladder for some of the designers that might decide to turn into more of an executive business administrator kind of jobs. And then the turquoise, it's because in Asia they don't see the resale value of diamonds as articulated by their words. So all they might do is just show a diamond, and they don't get the resale value. They don't like that, and they prefer have jades, and then let the better well-spoken salesmen and stores managers and then the corporate designated offices for the out channeling what kind of diamonds and what kind of acquisitions for the diamonds that they carry. So turquoise is to remind me that also, and it reminds me of a lot of things. The tradition, the Chinese essential studies, and the Chinese essential inventions. They always say that the compass is one, and I do believe that the compass is one, because there were a lot of traveling and they have to make the acquisitions, I mean the waterways, and they as in the archaeologists. You might think that I stutter, but it's not. Sometimes I have these tense issues. Not tense issues, but noise from the background. Say, hey, what do you want? Get out here. You know, I'm recording, and they can record you. That's all. So I don't stutter at all. 即係講中文咧，我係怕啲小朋友啦。So in Chinese, right？ 我係怕啲小朋友或者小孩子可能會睇一啲唔應該睇嘅書，然後你睇到佢哋反應啦。明明你中意睇嗰啲日本漫畫，你又想睇我嗰啲字典，you know？咁我咪要嘥好多時間，慢慢同你解釋。你係咪想我叫你啲 你介紹嘅嗰啲表舅父升你兩巴。Alright, so next, this one is by Paul Smith and Paul Frank, kind of British designs, right? And this one reminds me about the computing graphics elements of Adobe designs and Dreamweaver and many of these. So, okay. And I had named the thread machines instead of the garment printing, and then the garment printing maybe only for tablecloths, because when somebody can make a whole suit too fast, they might not appreciate as much. Yeah. Why do people wear black ties? Total black. Total black tie? It is for some kind of public services or voluntary services or call. We don't have anybody who can speak English and Cantonese as much as you do. Yeah. In the area. So that's the black tie. So taking out the gloves and still attached. This is a size 9, made in Italy, so standard sized, by the Paul Smith label. And I remember this from Kowloon Tong. So there's Kowloon Tong, Kowloon Bay, Kowloon Wan, yeah, and Kowloon Joy, yeah, Kowloon Joy. No, seriously, yeah. And Kowloon Shing, yeah. People get scared. Kowloon Shing is not. They just didn't have the sweeps and broom. They were nice people. When I went there, I was like, wow, I thought you guys pick boogers and smoke on the street and just throw cigarette butts. The whole streets were clean. Like, wow, good job, guys. So this is good. And then the fabric, you can even tell that it was printed in storage. So that's how you know you're paying a good sum, SUM, a price for your collections. And then you look at the seams and you feel the leather. What's the difference with the leather? This is soft leather. And then you can tell if it is synthetic leather or the real cow leather. This one I can't tell. What's another way to stretch it? Yeah. So it just, this is definitely handmade. So with the ties, how do you want you know, the differences with the tie? Number one is the stiffness. How stiff, how soft, how many layers. So in between you can put a paper layer or a recycling fabric in the middle, or and complement to G2000 in Hong Kong for the width of the tie and narrowing to the top, because it is same as the luxury branding width. Yeah, for the Windsor knots or for the regular knots. So what other pattern you have to watch out for? Okay, so there's pattern, and then you match with your suits. There's the pastel colors for spring. There is the summer factor. If it's really hot, you have the thinner suits. And then you have the winter, the autumn or fall. We just say fall, right? And then in fall, you know, you want these kind of leafy kind of colors, right? The brown leaves, maybe. The brown color leaves. Yeah. And then in winter, there is the snowing factor. So that's good. And who gets to wear the opposite colors? 相反与晚景相反，颜色，这一个好像秋天落叶那个树叶下来那个颜色，应该是比较少外出。The less you go out, the more you might want to say hello to everybody. On the contrary, so that's one way. So the key factor is knowing your height, and then the top where you tie the knot, how wide or how narrow you want. All right. And then the belt, some people like the belt to cover down here. Some people are all the way down, and then some people are up here, and then you're just walking by, then you don't really care, right? So that's the one. When I say you don't really care, is that you can just cover it with the suit and you're just walking by already. Not as exaggerated like this, but just, you know, walking by. Let's have a drink of tea. The belt. Alright, so my first very nice belt or luxury belt was this one. It is a Ferragamo, and this reminds me of the magic tricks. The finger joints. How did they get out? And they were able to just get the fingers out. So that was a reminder. And what else does it remind me of? Infinity. So this reminds me of some other stock trading, and one of the leading mutual funds pickers, the Fidelity Group, or the Fidelity Financial, or the Fidelity Capital, or the Fidelity Trust, or the Fidelity Line Series, along with J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, the internet, and then the whole financial industry in New York, and Merrill Lynch, Chase Bank, the Manhattan Chase Bank, and all the goodies there, the happy hours. And then it goes back to the pizza man, you know, with the David Letterman show. Yeah, so that's good. So this was memory. Yeah. That's why I tell the little kids, I say, no, not these, not these, not these. No, don't get that, don't get that. Don't touch it, don't touch it. What else? And then the belt. I think that it is the one that I used to focus on was to have it cover half a length. Hey, if you think my belt buckle is too flashy, I don't mean it. So it depends who the security or the bodyguards, you know, command might be, that they might kind of just, we're not ready to leave yet. We're not getting the call yet. Kind of like me in C-Train, the train. I had an apple, and all the people were looking at my apple. Huh. Are you talking about this one apple or the whole apple farm that I might buy one day? And I think they were talking about the farm. So I said, you know what? I'm not that hungry. We'll leave the apple here. So I left it at the train station. And I made it to Beijing. The apple. So that was memorable. Yeah. And then so the way you hang the buckle, right? I mean the way you, so this was the way I always had worn my ties, business ties, halfway, and everything was smooth with the escorts and things. And then of course some of the escorts, they were thuggish. Look, is that the one I scheduled? Or is that the one implied? I'm in Hollywood. Yeah. So that was the days. What else? And then the thuggish one, all they wanted to know is where the, you know, the fast food halls might be for a quick run, just to keep their stomach, you know. And that's all. The contact lens. Let me show you how to put on the contact lens. So these are Johnson & Johnson AccuView, and my prescription is really light. So I've been talking for days already without the contacts, and I can totally see everything. It doesn't blur that much, and if it does, yeah. So when you see leaders, they give you this look, or they kind of stare, you know they're not wearing the contacts, and they cannot get the LASIK until after the office term of 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, because the risks are too great. Yeah. And then once they're in the office, the whole medical industry, the whole doctors, they know he did the job. and he messed up, pressed the wrong button. He was too nervous. Yeah. The nurse made him spill the drink, or the nurse spilled the drink, and then the doctor pressed the wrong button, and then LASIK surgery needs the second visit. So not good, not good. So let me just wipe my head. And sometimes when they stare at you, they're staring at the one behind you. Yeah. Yeah, so no offense. And then when they say, "You punk," they're talking to your lookalikes. Yeah, so you gotta be careful about that. So one more white. And then the eye contact is simple. You open it like this. Have it on your finger. I usually do it with my right index. And then you look at the contact lens. Can you see? The contact lens. If it is a perfect half circle, it's good. If it is a kind of a upside down, you know, the you know, remember, if it's a U shape, it's the right way. Hey, it didn't come up. And by the first touch of your eyeballs, you know if it is contaminated or your finger might have alcohol. If it burns, go and wash it right away. And 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, and then it will get the swelling off. So it's already in there. And if the prescription is not clear, then you have to buy another pack or buy another batch. So you look at the date, and excuse me, it's squished. So 2023, and that's the batch that they came out. It's really light. Other than Johnson & Johnson, there is the B branding. And that's all it is. If you wear, excuse me, if you wear untrue or exaggerated contact lenses, either lower prescription or exaggerated higher prescription, you are going to ruin your off-contact vision, optometry vision. Optometry is the study of medical in optometry, and so when you go get your annual eye test, you usually tell them same prescription is okay. Because I exercise and I circulate my blood, and it might be okay. So that's how I eased one of my optometrist. I thank the optometrist. Yeah, sometimes. And if you wear 2 contacts in the same eye, it's a different prescription. So if you wear 2 contacts, double, one eye, it is a binocular. and monocular. So the casinos in Macau had already been informed by me that sometimes you think the person is impossible to see the reading, they might be able to see it. Macau is kind of the Asia Vegas, because the city planning time and things. So same with Vegas, and same with I've seen a casino. Well, same as the reservations, you know, casinos. So belt. So when do you pick silver and when do you pick the golden colors? You are a silver, sterling silver, stainless steel, best bargain, best rating, already made to office kind of jobs that people want to spend their time hammering things for you in the office, until you discover one day, you realize that there are some pointing that you have to point to precisely, but every single vocabulary that comes out from your mouth might becomes mass productions. Then you wear this one, so be careful with that. And then this one, because it is very perky and crafted in a way that is bold. You might want this one. That is a well-rounded, thinner kind of belt. And then they have the happy vase kind of belt that is you know, something like this. It's the monogram. So let me see if I can have the monogram out. Okay, so from my office vault that people think is all gold sticks and gold coins, excuse me, I have to go to the nearby jewelry store, you know, but for that, or you know, call the services, right? So the belt. This was my first belt in Hong Kong for jeans wearing, and I like how it is a complete shape. Most of them are like that. And this is the jeans buckle with the monogram leather on one side and the monogram printing on the other side. And this is when fashionable knows that their logo had exceeded the value of some of the raw fabric, or they might know exactly where the raw fabric is, or it is a reminder for themselves and the wearing person, the customer, the client, the supporter, and the patrons, yeah, related to the raw fabric. What else? Next. The differences with the buckle by Gucci. Gucci. Gucci, yeah. Porsche. Alright. So these are important. You can always use the belt hole puncher. So these, let me see if I have it. Excuse me, I was away from the camera. The belt hole puncher. And thanks to the Gucci store, the Gucci store in Causeway Bay, they were able to punch the hole for my this. The lady's name, yeah, let's not talk about the lady's name in Causeway Bay. So. And I want to give some props to some of the previous network marketing team leaders. He is in South Africa sometimes, and sometimes it's a reminder some of the picky shoppers. Yeah, picky shoppers. Yeah. Right. Leather belt hole punchers. So while this is loading, try another phone. This is what you might prefer and what I have. It is a hole puncher. Alright. And this part, it turns. This part, it turns, cluck, 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 and that's how you make a matching hole. What's another way to do it? To fit your belt. It is the buckle. Excuse me. The buckle. And then you put it in. So excuse me for saying this one word, but you make shorter the belt. And then you will find that it's fitting your belt more. What if the spinning part might jam? Okay, so if in the event that the spinning part here, cluck, 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 might get stuck or jam, right? You can punch a smaller hole and then slice here. Just a tiny bit. Just a little length. And you can put it in to the hole. And because you're fat, right? Or you have a tummy, it would not be at the slicing part because it's stretching. Yeah. What happens when in this kind of event is that in the annual or seasonal festivities, that you're freezing food storage. I freeze, you know, ice cream and popsicles sometimes, or the icy flavored bartending things. But it's really good that seeing some of the middle-aged, I'm not middle-aged yet, one more year, the middle-aged eat first, so you can yeah, so and then they start sounding like this, you know, and they're kind of with the food, and you know what time this is. Yeah, that kind of interesting value. So that's how it is. And I always have my name on the belt. What I write on this? So each of these belts have a serial number and codes and all that. Yeah. And you look and see if this is double stitched or single stitched. And if it's single stitch, oh wow, that's good. No glue. What is this kind of leather? The very it's smooth, but it is able to leave a footprint or like a mark. It is sway, and the maintenance requires a paint cover for brown and black. Excuse me. So this is the leather paint. So this one is black or brown. And you can paint over some of the belts and smear it. That's all it is. And I don't accept gifts, so it's all on credit cards. How much did I spend this year? $1 million Hong Kong dollars, including insurance. And estimating socializing. And I mean the whole annual year 2008 and 2019, plus the loss reports. And you know, every time I go out, so from me here to walk to make a report on the lost items, I owe some of the, not owe, but kind of obligated to go eat a dinner, so that when I buy the Yang Chow fried rice, the Sing Chow Chow Mai, everybody has time to rest, and they have not a rest, but you know, rejuvenating kind of. It's good. And then the cream. What is this? Okay, this is a shoes branding name, Geox. Alright, and you can put it on your belt. So for example, this one, when I was showing how my guys condition in Shenzhen, so we're at the nightclubs, you know, and dancing, and then I don't know where the people were. So I was by myself, and of course I'm not shy. And I kept dancing and I was like, hey, how do you guys feel? You know, the next tables. And they're like, how high can you jump? I jumped, you know, I showed them how to jump and things, yeah. And the belt was looking old afterwards. So what you do is, the best way is to smear it, but if you don't have a smearing, dip it a little bit, well, not for a small amount, and then you can try going like this, or you can try the napkin or the cloth. You're supposed to have the cloth, and it will look shiny new. This is a whole different job title. It's leather crafts renewing process, or the leather crafts specialist. And I knew about this from Los Angeles Dr. Martin distributors and the Steve Madden's stores. And then later on I met the craftsmen at the Red Monkey in Melrose, and I bought the same watch as Mr. Bloom, the actor. So, shiny new. But what about the wrinkles? You can steam it, but yeah. Alright. So, hopefully if I have extra ones, I can have these for some of the neighbors, or to talk about manufacturing and whether or not they should make available. So whether or not they should make available some of these, or just avail some of these. Who has TV shows like this? The Shop at Home Network and Martha Stewart shows, or the you know, other stores. One more focus. The items is shoes, and the undergarment is either tight or flares, you know, tight or, you know, flares, kind of. I don't want to talk about the ladies, but it's either the tan mark or no tan mark. That's all. Alright, I'll leave that. Tan mark or no tan mark. And then the guys, the shoes is either brown or black or gray, or the, yeah, have you seen gray? Oh. The umbrella, it's very important for your briefcase. And it's brown leather shoes. It looks okay for the black suits if it's a brown belt. These are more for moving, and this one, the seam is not a seam, it is glued. So it was very interesting ones picking. And then this one is a very flexible loafers by Tots. And of course, the Ferragamo is supposed to last a lifetime if you get the toe section accurately. And don't worry if your toes are ever squished after you take off the shoes, just relax. It's okay. Warm and hot towel over the toes. It's good. as far as the socks goes, there's the thin socks and the thicker socks. The longer length that you can fold back down, or the other items. Giving you the customer and feedbacks on these belts. If it is like this, you can't eat too much. You can only eat frequent meals. So eat 3 times a day, and then this. So socks, pattern or no patterns. If you have a individual office, pattern. If you are having a cubicle, probably no pattern. And then there is the white socks. If you have white socks, what happens? You wear the white socks to your nearest Giordano in Hong Kong or Bossini to wear the black socks over your white socks if you have to greet the customer. That's all. Send us the bill. The accountancy office front receptionist desk is probably right there. Yeah. So don't be ashamed to walk out the house even with sandals or barefoot to go to work. I've done that. You don't want to know how lacking clothes I was that one day. One more. Sunglasses. Why do we wear shades? Is because so shades is because sometimes your eyes get sensitive. You have a sports incident. My first shade was the one with the line here, but that wasn't something I picked. And so it was Oakley's for the sports. And there was the gas station ones just for driving back to the house. And then there was the Burberry that was in year 2000s, had the color shades. And then the Chinese always make fun of people and say, you know, the color shades is to get the checker out of the porn. Really? Where's the porn at? Which one of my classmates went? So this is good for blocking the sun, kind of. And you cannot wear these in the casinos. What if you do? Then they start complimenting your watches. Yeah, that's what I heard. Seriously, I only been to Commerce Casino for a Sunday talk speech, kind of, and then I've been to Circus to play games, and ever since I've been an adult, not much. What are the shades? So these are considered unisex, right? These are Prada. This was from Sunglass Hunt in Orange County, where my Porsche lost a gap to a Subaru. Boxster or Boxster S? It was a Porsche Boxster S. How do you feel? It's the terrain. I wanted to be a gentleman that day. I wasn't very accustomed to the Orange County pavement heat because my tires were just stock tires. It weren't ZR tires. And they didn't leave me the phone number to go to Arendelle racetrack. So the product glasses. It was on the highway, straight line. That's how trustworthy the Americans are with each other. Don't cross the line. Did you rev your engines at them? Vroom vroom? No, it wasn't a motorcycle. So that's approximately how it is. So it's good for people to see your eyeballs, because in some meetings, if you might be any way handicapped, they usually match you with another handicapped person to have your needs expressed and conduct the business. So oftentimes, okay. And if you are talking and you want to preserve a mental mood, why? Let me show you. So, and they want to see your eyeballs. Excuse me, it's cold in the with the AC. So and then your feet placement, sometimes they expect to be crossed. Sometimes you can for picture time, and then with the after event security meetings is usually one on top of the other. Yeah. And then to prove that you're not in the medical field and they say the shrinkage kind of position, you don't do that. You do it like that. Yeah. So that's some of the body postures. One more items that I have to show. One luxury belt buckle is equal to 2 belts or 3 belts. Imagine next season that you will have a belt that is brown, the holes, the black, and the monogram in one. Imagine that kind of combination one day. Yeah. So that's the fashion industry vision. Or you might just earn craftsman lady daughter's hand in marriage. We don't know that. The possibilities are endless. The sky is the limit. What if you aerospace? The sky is the limit. That's what the wise men and the books always say. Yeah. Because by the time you want to get through the sky, you had already missed all the Greek mythologies of the Orion star, yeah, and all that. So that's what they say, I think. Alright, so hey, time to put the things away. It's dinner time. And today I am going to put out some of these for the waste bins trash ladies, I guess. And this is, well, I can't because these are samples. Very affordable samples. I don't know if someone might need this. It's a black belt and a brown belt that is full buckled and kind of tight here. And some of my favorite Hong Kong undershirts. Yeah, so these were $160, so I think I'm gonna put these out in the recycling without slashing it. And there's no name on it, you know. It's good. And I'm definitely, you know, making it shiny. Where's the cream? Here. Well, I don't need the cream. Well, yeah. So I'll put this out with the cream, you know. So put this out with the cream. Yeah. So put this out with the cream. I'm just playing. So put this out with the cream. So maybe not until the season ends. All right, have a good day. Whew, dinner time. Oh. So let's do this trick again, right? And that's how you know that it is not dripping. So socks and toes. Ah, the head. The only office hat that I see appropriate for a conversation is this kind. The prep boy hats. Prep school boy hats. And then the cowboy hats, of course, greeting. You know, maybe handshake or... And then they put on the hat because they feel more confident. Or it is exposure to the air, kind of. So, yeah. And that is their image, iconic image on tabloids or on the publications or websites. Of course, the security force has the slanted hats. To be uniformed, and then they have wigs. Wigs are okay, so that's good. So one more time, the belts. One buckle can have various belts. Who has these in Hong Kong? I've seen the canales. Yeah. Have different colors with one buckle. But not to save time or anything. Always have the some tea or snacks, right? So one buckle. And this is the ending picture of this. Unbuckle. Alright, so hope everybody enjoy. And then the CuffLinks. Okay, it's good. Remember the belt. Alright, that's all.